The American-Russian Reset by Oren Kaplan, Operations Officer of the Anti-Genocide Team, Counter-War Team, and Special Assistant to the DoD. 2 days ago, there has been an American-Russian, Russian-American reset. The shift in world order is major and significant. Russia is no longer infiltrating our U.S. court system. America is no longer leveraging the Russian court system. Russia is exiting from its infiltration of American culture. America is exiting from the culture of Russia. There's a total armistice in regards to denuclearization. Apparently, America has an answer to Putin's judo. There's Jeep, and there's Liberty, there's social networks, and utterly making strides, and then there's the Directorate of Operations. This makes sense, and you know how to work the judo of Putin. When it all becomes clear, the answer is mutual desire of the peoples of the United States of America and the peoples of Russia to establish liberty and rights. America has a constitution. Where is Russia's constitution? America has rights. Where are the rights of the Russian people? When America's rights are improved, global order is improved. When the rights of the people of the Russian Federation are improved, global order will be significantly improved as well. When nations without liberty attempt to establish power frames antithetical to global freedom and liberty, the Western Hemisphere fights back. United, the Western Hemisphere comprises 15% of the global population. But let's not forget that the United States of America is 5% of the globe, and Russia is just 2.5% of the globe. It is therefore interesting to other nations how the United States of America and Russia have been the two major world powers in terms of geopolitics. It is also interesting how Britain has a population of only 60 million people, or less than 1% of the globe. So therefore, why is it that countries with small percentages of global population have so much global power? This is one of the current global questions. Why is it that the three aforementioned countries, the United States of America, the Russian Federation, and Great Britain, have the global frame of power, while the majority of the human population waits for its turn to have liberty? Let's not forget that we are an ultimate threat of nuclear war, mass genocide, and ground battles. With these things in mind, I'd like to remind the reader that the world order is not what you expect. China has 15% of the global population. India has 20% of the global population. China is a totalitarian dictatorship, and India is a democracy. Yet because of the global power frame of the British and Americans, India has very little global power authority, even if there is a significant and major amount of people power authority. Let's not forget that the totality of the European Union is 500 million people. Yet the countries that comprise the European Union are heavily divided. The European Union is a primarily economic union at this time, and France is considering the Frexit just as much as Britain did the exit. The unspoken major power structure is the union between Brazil, the Russian Federation, India, and China, and provisionally South Africa. This union, called BRIC, or BRICS, is actually established by Goldman Sachs. So the only major global power union uniting both democracies and dictatorships is the global power union that comprises 40% of the globe and that excludes the United States of America. Ironically, Goldman Sachs is an American investment bank. Yet my intelligence says that BRICS countries don't really want to work together. They're just grouped in by the investment bank known as Goldman Sachs, and securities are formed for the purpose of investing in the BRICS economies. Which brings us to the world of financial investing and investment banks. In other words, while nations are posturing for power and actually making major and significant strides in resetting global order around mutual agreement and liberty, the banks that control the purses are content to continue banking on their profits. They are clear that any change to global order could be antithetical to their profit margins. As such, the American-Russian, Russian-American reset, which is accepted by both nations, period, will change the business world so much. The business world, now that it's changed, is likely going to want to hold where things are at without too much change to global power at this time. Yet according to American and foreign governments' policies, the current structure of global order, with kingdom power governing the majority of the planet through power frames, is no longer tenable in the context of both global peace and world order. In other words, while the banks would love to just let things stay the same so they can break in their profits, the governments and militaries with nuclear weapons are playing a dangerous game. And as a result, the world is in acute danger of plunging into A, nuclear war, B, a multi-year global general war, C, mass genocide, which is why counter-genocide, non-proliferation, and CT has the frame on this video. Acceptable to the viewer, and acceptable to the filmer. The current threat of genocide is upwards of 100 million people at this time. We're worried about losing a significant portion of the American and/or Russian turf, which on the eastern hemisphere vaporizes Europe in addition to urban and suburban Russia. And on the western hemisphere, it could wipe out the American heartland as well as half of Canada and Mexico. This is really big. We didn't know about this, so that's really important to know for everybody to watch this video and understand it completely. A lot of analysis will be done here. As a result, the U.S. Pentagon needs to work with the banks that might have been holding up the payment of America's best operators, to establish some significant changes to world order that are needed to maintain the peace. It's very difficult to maintain a global economy, an economy significantly propped up by a kingdom that just manufactures economies without actual business, and civilian populations are in danger of being bombed. And that's CT and CG on the framing of this video as well. Therefore, the Pentagon is making inroads with the American banking system for the purpose of educating them about the changes in world order. At the macro level, we are establishing liberty-based systems of governance with legal justification, and taking on a kingdom which has so many power frames in the Western Hemisphere that our liberty and wealth have been diminished. At the micro level, we are witnessing global power players emerge, both protagonistic and antagonistic to our mission for surviving the human population. At one end, we have an enemy, the 32-year-old Austrian Chancellor. Without mentioning his name, the Pentagon is afraid of a 32-year-old long-haired European whose power has been described as limitless, which is an understatement. A man who continues to say that you don't understand his power. Right. To the left is Prince Harry, a 33-year-old monarch who may be open to the establishment of liberty-based political governance in Britain. And further west is our American specialist, an anti-Hitler who is a military operative and operations officer with the ability to counter Putin's judo, assuage Harry's rage, and minimize the Austrian Chancellor's control power. As you know, some major power structures are emerging to describe this American's importance, and yet American power has this macabre relationship of ultimate trust and then ultimate hate towards him, likely because of the infiltrations in America's power political system based on Britain, Russia, Germany, and Japan. The American operations officer works on the anti-genocide team of the CIA, the FBI's counter-war team, and the Pentagon's international defense team. It is important not to understand his current role in American power. Rather, his interest is in establishing power frames that are blessed by Interpol and the International Criminal Court, over the Austrian Chancellor for the purpose of Chancellor's retirement, followed by a relatively meager post-Chancellor service to Austria and Europe at a charity level. The so-called Global Initiative for Good is the strategy once the Austrian Chancellor leaves power. Our American operative represents the American defense, yet the caveat is the difficulty our American establishment has had in paying him for his work due to his role in the orchestration of the Cairo Revolution in 2011. Apparently, when you successfully orchestrate a revolution, powers of dictatorship and kingdoms conspire to limit your access to financial well-being, which explains why Prince Charles is paying such close attention to this young man, and not in a good way. Which brings us to where it's at with the global power detail intended to maintain global order and improve it, while simultaneously keeping the peace and averting genocide, averting war, and averting nuclear holocaust. Prince Charles is under suspicion of probably murdering more than 10 million people. His son Prince Harry is mortified and is now eager to work with the American authorities to control Charles and restrict his ability to do such harm. Interestingly, the harm that Charles may have caused has been tracked to Russia, and the Russian leadership is working closely with Charles, which brings us to where it's at with Russia's people. Russia's people are fed up with the threats of wars and holocausts. They've asked Putin to stand down. They've asked for a constitution. They've asked for rights. They've asked for liberty. And so you can clearly see a chasm between Russian power and the stance of the Russian people. The same is clear in Britain, where the people are quietly figuring out that there is hope for a liberty-based life, rather than total top-down iron grip control with no freedom, a state-controlled economy with no hope for entrepreneurship, or the ability to make hard choices or decision points. And honestly, the British people are finding their voice, making it clear to Buckingham Palace that the kingdom's authority does not exist, and that the British people want their rights. Faced with this map of understanding, which does include the constant and ultimate threat of potential nuclear war as imminent, the threat of a 9-figure Holocaust potentially imminent, and the threat of a ground war as looming on the horizon, it is clear that the U.S. Pentagon needs to work closely with its global financial power structures to appropriately enhance American power, establish power frames for stability and peace, and gain a clear understanding of the way forward between the stance of the peoples of the world and their desire to enter the world economy with rights and liberty. Thank you for watching.